Hello, I'm Alister McGrath and I'm a theologian at Oxford University in England. And although I initially studied natural sciences when I arrived at Oxford as a student back in 1971, I found myself being drawn to study Christian theology. I went on to become Oxford's Professor of Historical Theology and later the Idrius Professor of Science and Religion at Oxford. Now, as I'm sure you will know, Oxford has a long tradition of engaging with theology. Theology has been taught there for more than 800 years. And I feel privileged to be part of a tradition of learning and reflection that reaches so far back into the past. And you may have come across my books. I'm best known for my theology textbooks, which are used throughout the world and have been translated into 20 languages. But I'm also an admirer of C.S. Lewis, and I've published an award-winning biography of him. And like Lewis, I enjoy exploring the rich vision of reality that we both find in Christianity, and also reflecting on how it helps us to make sense of our world and our lives. Now, listen, I've spent most of my life teaching at Oxford University, and what I want to do in this short series is to share some of the wisdom I've come across in reading great Christian writers of the past and present. I'm quite good at explaining things, and it seems sensible to reflect with you on some of the great themes of the Christian faith, figuring out what they mean and the difference that they make to us. So that's what this series, Christian Reflections, is all about. Now listen, I used to be an atheist when I was a teenager, and it seemed very simple to me back then that reality was limited to what reason or the sciences could prove, and anything else was simply a delusion. And sure, that was a rather grim and bleak way of thinking about things, but back then it seemed to me this was right. Better to limit yourself to what can be proved to be true. The problem, of course, is that this turned out to be a very dull and very small world that left out just about everything that seemed to me to matter. And for me, discovering Christianity was like stepping into a new world in which things made sense. It was as if someone had turned a light on and I was able to see things properly for the first time. And one of the first Christian writers I began to explore was C.S. Lewis, who helped me to grasp and to appreciate the rich vision of reality that Christianity makes possible for us. And you may know the final lecture of one of his Oxford lectures, which I found captured my imagination. It reads like this, you've probably heard it. I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. And I can still remember the sense of excitement I felt when I first read those words and began to figure out what they meant. Now, in this short series, I'm not going to preach at you. I'm not going to give you a lecture to tell you what's right and what's wrong, but rather I'm going to reflect with you. I'm going to reflect on some key Christian ideas and explore them with you. And, reflection is really just about turning things over in our minds and our imaginations, working their angles. And C.S. Lewis once remarked that writers are people who tell us what they've seen, who point us to what they've discovered and what they've seen, so that others can see it as well and share their enthusiasm. And that's what I want to do in this series of Christian Reflections. I'm going to open some things up with you, not close them down. I want to help you think about things, not close things down. I want to share my own ideas to help you think things through for yourself. So I've developed a series of short reflective videos, and each of these consists of 5 or 6 videos, usually about 6 or 7 minutes long, and I'll release these over a period of time. And the first 6 series will get us started by reflecting on how Christians understand the meaning of life, and then we move on and we look at why C.S. Lewis is such an interesting writer. Then I'll talk about the creeds and how we can make sense of them, and then we'll reflect on the identity and significance of Christ, or the Christian understanding of salvation, and then I think also the Christian understanding of how science and faith hang together. Now, I've based these reflections on talks I've given to students, church study groups and adult education classes, and I've tried very hard to keep them short and keep them simple. So if you like them, please tell your friends about them. Now, the first series consists of 5 videos reflecting on how we try to make sense of life, opening up some big questions and exploring how Christianity engages these. So I hope to see you again very soon, and thank you for listening.